Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. My name is Amity Gilmour and this is my life. If you are new here, I post weekly content on the subjects of gastroparesis awareness, lifestyle and some faith devotionals. So if any of those topics interest you, then be sure to click that subscribe button and also don't forget to ring the notification bell in order to be updated from videos coming from me twice a week. Oh gosh, I'm just not thinking straight today, guys. If you're familiar with my channel, you are probably realizing that we have a change of scenery today. And yes, you're not crazy. I'm here at Port Macquarie at my cousin's house. It's been crazy. If you read the titles of this video, it probably says something along the lines of I went to hospital in a cop car or something like that. Well, man, I have a story to tell. But before we reach the video, I just want to apologize if my brain is a little bit befuddled in this video because I'm very tired, obviously. Let's get on with the video. Okay, where do we start? If you've been watching the news recently and you live in Australia, you've probably came across the information that it has been flooding in the area of Port Macquarie and other areas as well, and quite torrential flooding. This has been a once in 100-year flood. It's just insane how flooded everything was. I really do feel sorry for so many people who have lost their homes or who have lost their livestock. There has been so many animals, livestock and livelihoods that have been lost. Businesses have been destroyed, and it's going to take a long time for this community to heal, especially after the fact that we have also been through bushfires in this community, and we've also been through COVID with the rest of the world and drought, and it's been full on, guys. It's been full on. This story starts 19th of March, Friday, 2020. By this point on Friday, it had already been raining pretty heavily for about 3 days straight, I think it had been. Things were getting pretty dire. Friday, my mom and my sister and my brother weren't actually at school. My mom's a teacher, that's why she's usually at school. However, they weren't at school that day. They stayed home because we were flooded in. School ended up being shut down anyway. The flooding had gotten pretty bad and we were basically stuck at home. So that day, I remember I had opened my bowels and it was really hard to push out, and then when it came out, I just got this massive pain in my bowels. Felt like they had exploded. But then after that, I was fine and I had so much relief. You know that really good feeling you have after a good poo? Yeah. Fast forward to 4:30 p.m. I'm preparing dinner for myself. I'm having mashed potato. I'm peeling my potato ready for dinner, and all of a sudden I was in a lot of pain and it started to hurt, and it just got intensely worse, and it was like this stabbing sort of pain, about 10 centimeters, 5 or 10 centimeters up from the belly button. It hurt so much. Oh my goodness. And mom had said, don't worry about dinner, just go to bed. I'm going to, you know, prepare a hot water bottle and everything that needs to be done there. So I did, but it was the worst pain I'd felt ever. I rang my dietitian and I asked, hey, what should I do? And she said, call an ambulance or ring my doctor and then see what they say, and then maybe call an ambulance. So I called my doctor, but he wasn't available at that point, so they just said, call an ambulance. So I called an ambulance. Now, we were flooded in, so as you can probably imagine, an ambulance getting to us was going to be a bit of a difficulty. On top of the fact that we were flooded in and that makes it difficult, there was also so many car accidents and incidents happening around the area that the ambulance were busy anyway with so many different things. We called the ambulance at 5 o'clock. We waited and I was in so much pain. My abdomen was like flared up in pain. I had been bloated for the past couple of weeks. It just didn't go away. I'm still bloated. I don't know if you can see. I'll show you after this video. I'll insert it here. This is my bloating for today. I literally look like I'm dressed up for a baby shower. Oh boy. What had happened was it was so sore, and I didn't want to take a painkiller other than Panadol, so I had to call Health Direct, which is like a medical information sort of line. They said you need to get to the hospital. I'm like, yeah, but it's been 2 hours since we called an ambulance and like they're not coming. There's no way they can get here. It's like flooded. And they said, look, you need to call them back. And the nurse also said, I'm going to put you through to a doctor to let you talk to the doctor about whether you can take Tramadol or not. I talked to the doctor. The doctor said the same thing, you need to be in hospital. And I said, look, can I take Tramadol? Because the ambulance aren't going to make it. Like, we called them 2 hours ago. The doctor had said, yes, you can take Tramadol. So I took some Tramadol. It was about 3 hours since we called the ambulance. We get a knock at the door and we're really hopeful. We're like, oh my goodness, is this the ambulance? But it was the SES. They said, hey, we heard there's a medical emergency here. We're working with the ambulance to get it through and to get it here safely. We're just checking on you to see if everything's okay. And then they had to go leave after a while to evacuate some people from some homes, like literally just down the road. This is how crazy it's getting. We waited for another hour, no ambulance. However, in between 9 o'clock and 9:30, we got another knock at the door. At this point, we had almost given up hope and I was in a lot of pain, but the Tramadol had started to kick in a bit. At this point, we got a knock on the door and Mum opened it and it was the police. The police had said, oh, hey, is there a medical emergency here? We've got a 4 drive, we can take patient to the hospital. Mom basically came and said, hey, the police are here, they're helping the ambulance out, are you okay to go with them? And I'm like, yes, like I need to get to the hospital. So I went in the back of a cop car to get to the hospital. Yep. Police were driving along and I was listening to the police radio that night as I was in the car, and hearing the police radio and all the stuff they have to deal with on one night is just incredibly crazy. Like, there are people that are losing their houses and there's so much stuff going on, yet they still have to also deal with crime, like, and people being stupid on a night like that night where like there are other emergencies going on. I have to go literally the long way round, probably added an extra 15 minutes on the trip, if not maybe 20. As we're driving, I'm looking around at the devastation. It's flooded in areas I've never seen it flood before. I've lived in this area since I was very, very, very young, and never have I seen flooding the way it has. I mean, I am young myself, but there are older people, like much older, who have lived here for like 50 years who have said the same thing. They have never in their 50 years of living in the area seen a flood like this before. So we get to the hospital. I get out of the car and I think it was the taser stuff that was like all coming out of the car when I opened up the thing. So I was just like trying to put it back in the car. It was like string, so I think it was like the taser thing. So I had gotten to the hospital and the nurse triaged me, and then I went in to the waiting room waiting for the doctor. It took a long time for the doctor to get there. I got to the hospital at 10 o'clock and the doctor didn't actually see me until 12 o'clock. I've had worse. I went in and I saw the doctor. The doctor had basically taken a urine sample and a blood test. Nothing else, no scan, no, nothing like that, just a blood test and a urine sample, which of course I knew was going to come back normal because it always does. And it did. It came back normal. So after that, he basically said, look, I don't know what else I can actually do here. And I was like majorly dehydrated. I remember he had felt my pulse and he kind of gave that look like, and then he started to touch on my fingers. At that point I thought maybe he's checking my hydration levels, and that's when I told him, hey, I might be dehydrated. I struggle with dehydration because of my gastroparesis. He had basically looked at me and said, oh, okay, that makes sense. But there was no drip, no hydration level, nothing. Like, obviously there was a lot of things that probably could have been done that weren't done, and obviously I understand it was a really busy night and things were going like crazy. The problem with gastroparesis and chronic illness is you go into the hospital at times when it's really bad. The hospital just doesn't do much for you because they say, look, everything has come back normal, or they say, hey, there's not much we can do about this because this is a chronic illness, like we're not going to be able to cure it, which annoys me so much because it's like, if you can't cure it, there's no bother in helping, when really it's like, no, that's not true. Like, yeah, there's no cure, but can you like at least help to manage my symptoms or figure out what's going on? Like, is there a complication that this chronic illness has caused at this time? Like, just check those things. But unfortunately there wasn't much help that I got, so, which, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I'm kind of used to this by now because it kind of happens like that. But fast forward, it is 2 a.m. and I get sent home, I get discharged. And so I ring my auntie and I say, hey, look, I'm discharged, can I get picked up? So I've been picked up and I'm here, and I've been here for I think 3 or 4 days, and I'm staying here in Port just in case there is a need that arises to go back to the hospital, because obviously that was a really weird thing. My dietitian was freaking out, like she had no idea what to do. Like, she even admitted today on the phone, because I had a phone appointment, saying, look, I was scared for you. She said your voice sounds so much better today, but when I heard you before, it literally, I heard the voice and like I heard you cry out in pain. It was like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? Like, yeah, it was crazy. And I'm just so thankful for the emergency services for the work they do. The ambulance was so hectic and so busy that night, and the police also, but the way that they were able to work together was so good, and I'm thankful for those police officers who were able to get me to the hospital. In terms of what actually caused that pain, I don't actually know as of yet. I'm getting an abdominal ultrasound on Friday to just make sure everything's okay. I'm struggling a bit with nausea, but I kind of always struggle with that, so it's not really a big deal. But the weirdest thing that I've been feeling, okay, this is really weird, with the whole appetite sort of thing. This is a very new symptom that I've just started feeling. It's really weird. It's like I feel so hungry. Like, I never feel hunger, never, usually. But all of a sudden I'm just feeling so hungry. But then I go to take a bite and I just can't eat. So it's like this constant feeling of being hungry, but every time I go to eat something, it makes me feel full. An hour later, I'll feel hungry again. And then same thing, I'll take a bite or two or a little bit and I'll feel full again. So it's really weird. I have no idea what that is. I'm going to talk to my doctor about that. I'm seeing him on Wednesday. If any of you GPers are watching this and you have experienced the same thing I'm talking about, the whole hunger and then going to eat and not being able to, can you please let me know in the comments down below, because I just really, it is the weirdest thing. I have not really ever in a long time felt the feeling of hunger until now. And not even as a kid, I don't think I hardly ever felt the feeling of hunger. To be feeling that really intensely, like so intensely that I'm actually feeling sick, and then I go like to eat something and it's just like, oh my goodness, I can't. Please let me know if you feel this. Please let me know that I'm not crazy and I'm not the only GPer that is experiencing this. But anyway, that was my video for today. If you like this, then be sure to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow me at Amity Gilmour on Instagram. Love you guys and God bless.